Oh, hi. Um, Thank you for asking me this group of questions. I think there's 11. I'll try to go through them quickly for you. Mike Simonson here. I suspect this is Ms. Ramos is for one of the classes you're taking. But let me answer the questions one at a time. What has been your biggest professional challenge? Well, there have been a lot in my career. I've been doing this a long time, but probably the one that was the most interesting, maybe difficult, was first when I was the chair of the Research Institute of the College of Education, and more recently as department chair in one of the departments in the College of Education here at Nova Southeastern. Why is that a challenge? Anytime a professor is expected to manage an organization, it's a step out of character for most professors. Most professors are researchers, scholars, teachers. We're the kind of people who want to investigate things, not manage things. So managing an organization, a group of people, a department, a unit within a college is a difficult task, and it was for me. What's the recognition that give you the most professional satisfaction? Well, there's two. One was when I was named Professor of the Year in 2013 in the Fishler College of Education. That was the culmination of a lifetime of work as a professional in a college of education, and I really was humbled that I received this honor. The other was when the United States Distance Learning Association named me one of the recipients of their Hall of Fame award in 2016. Both of those are sort of culminating uh, awards, recognition, if you would, one on a college level with the people you work, and one on an international level in the field in which you work. Well, your birthplace, I was born in New York City, in Manhattan, and my mother was a New York City girl. About your books, which book was the most satisfying? Well, you always remember your first, 1984, my first book, Media Planning and Production. Um, I didn't know how difficult it was to write a book until I wrote this one. In the interim, I've written four or five others, but probably the most satisfying at this point is teaching and learning at a distance. Satisfying not because it was the first, maybe not because it's the last, but because it's the one that has seemed to have the most longevity. It's in its sixth edition, and I'm working right now on the seventh edition. Famous research that I've done, well, I had a project once called the Da Vinci Project that brought together art teachers and chemistry teachers in public schools, and I attempted to find out what they had in common, could share with one another. And we did a rather extensive evaluation research study, very rigorous, and it was a lot of fun. We worked with people, and we had funding from the U.S. West Foundation that enabled us to do a lot of things. The other was, which was maybe interesting, was a study on subliminal messaging, messages you can't see within some kind of mediated delivery system of instruction or a TV show or a commercial that were subliminal, to find out whether that really worked or not. You have to read the study to find out what we found. On what did I do my doctoral dissertation? What was its base? Well, it was dissonance theory, and it was an attempt to see whether or not this idea of producing a commitment by people could influence their attitudes and what impact that would have on what they learned. And it was kind of an interesting study. It got me into the statistical side of things and helped me become a quantitative researcher, and also then to recognize the importance of qualitative research. I've had some grants. Yes, I've had a dozen of them over the years. If I could investigate something, though, without any monetary, I'd like to look at telehealth, and maybe one thing I'm interested in right now is the use of drones in education. Is there a place for that kind of technology, drones, things that fly around, in technology? Where am I doing work? What am I investigating? I'm doing some work on educational colonialism, which is a term that maybe I coined. It's a term we know, but to find out what the impact of things like MOOCs are on educational systems internationally, and whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. I can think by the title, colonialism, that there is some implication there that maybe it's not the best thing in the world. Who was the most outstanding scientist in distance education? Well, I'd have to go to my friend Michael Graham Moore. He kind of legitimized distance education in the United States, even though he is from United Kingdom, and maybe Desmond Keegan, and some of the people who really set the foundation for distance education internationally. What would you recommend the new investigations by people who are in this program? Oh, the idea of educational colonialism, the idea of telehealth, telemedicine, some of these areas where distance education, virtual education, is moving into areas where it had not been practiced in the past. Those are all in significant need of investigation. And the publications and associations, everyone in our field should be a member of the Association for Educational Communications and Technology, AECT, and everyone should be a member of the United States Distance Learning Association. Those two organizations kind of the two halves of the instructional technology and distance education degree. And maybe there are some others that people could be interested in too, but those are two where the real thinkers in our field, AECT, and the real doers in our field, USDLA, congregate, and that's where we should go to find out what they're thinking and what they're doing. Well, once again, I hope this helped. Thanks a lot.